My role in the School of Coastal Resilience is I'm a geographer. My name is David Holt, and I work for the geography program. I teach cartography. I also do our field methods course and things along those lines. So I work in our GIS lab, and I also work out in the field a lot. And then I also teach our physical geography course 105, which is land and water. So basically how the physical planet works itself. So it works very well with our new sustainability program because it covers a lot of different bases. So we came up with a major that along with our normal complement of degrees that we have down here on the coast, brings together ecology, geography, GIS, geographic information systems, and math and statistics, a foundation for that, and an applied field approach to come up with a degree that is our Sustainability Sciences Coastal System Dynamics program, because we are using the coast itself as our laboratory. So in the School of Coastal Resilience, this actually plays very nicely for us because we can use our current expertise and the current degrees that we have to train people to be scientists, to train people how to do science and how to do field science. Get out there and physically do it. Get your hands dirty, get your feet wet, sort of thing. We'll still, you can still do lab work if you'd like as well, but we like to get people out there to show really what we're doing. We have an excellent research area out here because we are our beach. We've got our barrier islands, we've got estuaries, we've got aquaculture, we've got a port that's coming in, but we also have the cities, and we have city structure, and we have the resilience post-hurricane. How do we deal with flooding? How do we deal with development? And so we have students that are working on just terrestrial projects. We also have students that are working out in the water, and we've got students that are working right along the coast. So coastal system dynamics is this humans, 80% of the population of humans lives within 80 kilometers of the ocean. And so we are a coastal people, and so when people talk about living on the coast, I sometimes jokingly refer to it as the salt life degree. People who, we don't want to leave this. We want to live next to the water. And so there are inherent hazards to that, but there's also an ecological responsibility of living along the coast, from fishing or just hanging out on the beach. So those are the sorts of things that we train our field scientists to do. One of the benefits of using the proximity of the coast in our classroom setting is we teach courses specifically like for field methods. We go out and we literally test the beach, we test the water. Some of our projects that our students have done just this last semester, we're looking at our Bear Creek Bayou that runs right through our campus. It's actually a freshwater body, and it was in a culturally significant freshwater body that ran along the coast. Anywhere that you can get fresh water in this environment, if you were to remove yourself, here's my history degree coming in, if you remove yourself from right now and you go back 200 years, fresh water is the defining characteristic of where humans are going to be able to settle and live for any period of time. Salt water, you might be able to get your food, but you need fresh water to survive. So that fresh water becomes important. Interestingly enough, when we look at that body of water right now today, people don't even know that it's a freshwater body because we get our water from the tap. And so it's these sorts of things that we look at how our existence along the coast has changed, but it still defines us. This is why we're along the Pascagoula. This is why we're near the Wolf River. This is why Bay St. Louis, developed the way that it did, is because you have a freshwater source and you have food source. We don't have a lot of wild agriculture that was used with European settlers here. It was actually a very slow process. And so we lived off seafood and fresh water. Those two sorts of things coming together make for a laboratory from looking at pure history, or you look at the literature that's developed around there. But then also we have the scientific side of like, how does this work? How do we keep people living there? There obviously is a tipping point, if you will, with how many people you can put along the coast, and it still have an ecological structure that supports those very things that cause people to settle here to begin with. Well, our new major, we started up with our first cohort, if you will. So we've got a lot of new recruits there. We came into our field methods class, which we did, and a lot of us, we focused initially on Bear Creek. And we looked at that freshwater body historically and then things that we can do with it. As examples, some of the projects in that class were, we went out and did water quality testing. Some people looked at doing bog filtration to try to clean the water up. We have a lot of turtles live out there and stuff. We've got a spillway that's there right now, a static spillway, that has changed the structure of that stream, the way that it flows. And we've looked at the natural flow of streams, and then we can look at turtle populations, the biodiversity of turtles that we have in there. I think we have 6 species of turtles in there right now is our last count. And these things are, surprising, and you don't know it until you get out there. It's just a body of water that flows along. We also had some students that looked at aquaculture, specifically our oyster. So while we have some people looking in other programs looking specifically at how you grow oysters, this is looking at it from more of a geographic standpoint, taking the GIS side and being able to map out where the oysters are, looking at freshwater, saltwater interface, and how those things can actually play in, and changing temperatures of water, things along those lines. As again, the jobs that you would get with a sustainability or coastal system dynamics degree is it's a bachelor's degree that shows you that you have earned your way in field science. So when you understand lab science, you understand field science, you can gather data that's useful. We also have other routes that people can take, like a geographic information certificate, where you can actually map all of this. So we can show you how to gather data, how to map those data, how to control those data on a computer. That particular job is out there for a lot of people. We've got people working at Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. We've got internships for Ocean Springs. We've had internships run for the city of Gulfport. We also have, Stennis Space Center has those sorts of things. So people, if you're planning to go to a higher degree, or even if you want to teach sciences, you can do that. But this is really getting you how to use the equipment, how to get out there, experience equipment, how to gather real scientific data, and then be able to draw your own conclusions. So it's all about the scientific process is asking a question, coming up with a test for that question, and then getting a result and seeing if that has merit. And that's really what we do there. So we've got all of our labs out here and all of our toys that we play with. But really, those toys are what drives human understanding of the planet.